Hello grade 12s. I'm just going to go through another example of using the present value formula for an annuity. The context is going to be slightly different this time. So my context is that in this time we're actually going to borrow an amount of money. And the amount of money we're going to borrow is, let's say it's 10,000 Rand to buy a new GoPro with some accessories. And in order to buy this, the terms you are offered are you're going to pay this off over, let's say, 5 years, and the interest rate you are offered is, let's say, it's 12% per annum, but in the agreement you agree with the finances that you are going to compound this loan monthly. Now my question to you is, you're going to pay off this loan of 10,000 Rand, and it's going to be over 5 years with the following interest rates. What is the amount of the monthly payment that you need to make such that the present value of all those payments is going to be equivalent to 10,000 Rand? So let's start with the timeline. We're going to model the situation on a timeline. This is a very important first step for any finance question. So in the context of this question, I did say it was going to be over 5 years, but the compounding interval is monthly. And so when I start to draw my timeline, I'm going to start by looking at it in terms of months. And how many months in 5 years? Well, 5 times 12 is just going to be T60. So we've got that timeline laid out. Now if we think about my repayments, we don't know what they are, but because we're paying them off as an annuity, they have to be fixed payments of the same size. So I'm going to call them X. And you can imagine there's a whole bunch of X payments over here in between. Notice the assumption that we start repaying after the first period of time. So now the question is, how do we use the formula above to solve for this unknown quantity? Well, it's really as simple as plugging in what we know and solving for what we don't know. So we know the present value of the loan is going to be 10,000 Rand. Now if we look at our formula, the very first part of it, the X here, is actually the value of the monthly repayment. So there's no problem there. Then, the next part is going to be just finding the interest rate that's applicable. But we decided at the beginning that was given as 12% per annum, but it's compounded monthly, so we divide that by 12. And then the minus n, well, the n is the number of repayments. We can clearly see by looking at the timeline that there must be 60. So we go minus 60, and then this is over an interest rate as per the formula. And so that is just going to be 0.12 over 12, like that. And so all we have to do now is take all these numbers over here, so essentially that big thing is all just a number, find what that number is, and then take 10,000 and divide it by that number, and we find out what X is. So do this on your own calculator, and if you want, you can do it in 2 steps or 1 step, but you want to make sure you get to the right answer. So X is going to be equal to 10,000 divided by all that blue stuff. So I get as, now you don't have to do this in 2 steps, you can do it by using your calculator's memory, but if you do it in 2 steps, you must make sure that you write out with all the decimals, because rounding is very important. So I get that as the amount for the blue bubble, and so all I need to then do is take that amount and take 10,000 and divide by that, which should give me, if I round to 2 decimal places, 222,4 rands. And so basically, to pay this off over 5 years at a monthly repayment, we're going to have to pay 222 Rand and 44 cents. And in fact, we must be careful here because of rounding. We're not actually perfectly going to get to 10,000 at this rate because we've rounded down. If we really wanted to get to all the way to 10,000, we would actually have to round up. But that's a topic for another video. But just be aware that because we've rounded down here, it won't absolutely get 10,000. It'll get really, really close. But if we wanted to reach all the way to 10,000, you'd actually have to round up to the nearest Rand.